I completed 1 year of my reading bullet journal, and this is the flip through. As you can see, this is the one of 2021, but I just recently finished it. And the theme of this year is plants, so really retro plants style. This is the future look of all the upcoming releases of that year. Here are my most releases I was looking forward. All of the unread books I owned. And this is what my bookshelf almost looked like. And I really wanted to showcase all of the book covers so I can see which ones I needed to read before the end of the year. These are all the classics that I own but still have not read. And these are all the books I bought in that year. I really like this ornament style, which is a really cool way to spice things up. Here we are to the gifted and unhauled. And here are some stats. My goal of that year was to read 40 books, which I did not complete it, unfortunately, which is also why I stopped tracking in this reading journal and only finished it this year. This is an overview of all the books I read. Started with The Little Prince. Here are some stats. I printed all the stats from Goodreads and Storygraph. So those sites have information like this, which I really like to print out. As you can see, my most hyped book I read was The Little Prince, and the least hyped was Annie, which really surprised me. I gave most books 4 stars. And here you can see the ratings, and these are my favorites of the year. Here are some page tracker stats. The shortest book was The Little Prince, and the longest And the Mountains Echoed. And here you can see all the reading pages that I read during the year. As you can see, I did not read a lot. Which I wanted to track with this one first. Because my goal was to read 50 pages a day, at least. Here are some other stats. I really like to see this one. I read contemporary the most, then LGBTQIA, young adult, children's, classics. I think those are my top genres. Here are the moods. I read mostly fast-paced and slow-paced the least. I read only fiction books. All of the books I read are in English. And I read 2 books of Lemony Snicket as the most read authors. And now we go into the thoughts. First, I wanted to do it each month. So here we are in January. I read 2 books. I checked my socials. And this is the reason why I wanted to start a reading journal in the first place. As you can see, it does not have to take up that much time. These are just the stamps and these are just my thoughts. And the ratings and the date that I completed the book. Here we are in February. I read 2 books and a DNF too. I was trying to read a Dutch book called Sapiens, which is also an English book, but it was way too long and I only did like the beginning. So I DNF'd that one too. I really like looking back to see my thoughts. Here I was doing a readathon, the 24 and 28 and the 24 and 48, my apologies. Where I kept track of the hours, here as well. And each color was a different book. And here are my thoughts on those as well. And then the book I read in March. And then we are in April, which I gave up doing monthly reading goals and wrap-ups. So here I just kept track of all the books I read, starting with We Are the Ants. I really love that one. I have continued reading a series of unfortunate events. And this is my entire wrap-up. As you can see, it's really easy to keep track of it. If you want to start a reading journal, it's not about creativity, but just to keep track of the books. In my opinion, I only use stamps and stickers. As you can see here, to spice it up a little bit, I did not do any calligraphy. I did not buy too much. Only a black pen and ink. And yeah, that's about it. I'm also going to set up next year bullet journal because I didn't read that much in this year as well. I have a really cool idea about it, so if you're curious, please subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!